Welcome everyone. In this session, we'll go beyond the basic exception handling and learn how to handle multiple exceptions and how we can add some cleanup logic and raise our own exceptions when needed. In the last session, we learned that what exceptions are and why they occur, what are the different types of exceptions, and we also learned how to use try and except block to prevent our program from crashing when an exception occurs. In today's session, we will build upon those basics and learn how to handle specific types of exceptions using multiple except blocks. Uh, and we will see else to run code only if an no exception condition occurred and use finally to do some kind of a cleanup. And then at the end, we'll learn how to raise exceptions on purpose to prevent bad data or a bad behavior. So, handling multiple exceptions. Sometimes a block of code may raise more than one type of exception rather than catching everything with a generic except statement. What we can do is we can handle each exception type separately, which will allow us to take appropriate action based on the kind of the error. So, let's say, for example, here in this case, the zero division error can also happen, and if the user enters a string variable, so let's say I add c, which is not a valid number. If I uh, pass in 0 cannot divide by 0. So both these cases can happen, and under each except block, whenever an error has been captured, we can have our own workflow setup that print this message, or if this condition occurred, what kind of workflow to further take into the program. If different exceptions should be handled the same way, we can group them together in a single except clause, or as seen in the last session, you can simply use an exception command as E and print it directly. So it keeps our code concise and readable. But in case you have workflows for each kind of exceptions, then this kind of multiple except blocks and then a generic except block just to uh, keep everything in check, that if some unknown exception occurs, you just log it into your systems, which you can later check out and try to create a workflow for that, or maybe try to resolve that issues using the else block. So the else block runs only when no exception is raised, and this is useful for writing code that runs only when everything works perfectly, making our code easier to understand. So let's say you entered a number and it didn't raise any particular error, then the else block will go and run some kind of a proper action. There you can maybe use a else block, or maybe you might also need not to use an else block. It is just that there is a functionality that after try and except you can use an else block. So for example, once try and except blocks are checked, you can directly have your else statement, and oh, right. So then you can directly have your else statement will directly run its own code. So that is how the else statement can be used. Otherwise, your normal code workflow is also fine to continue. Then using the finally block. So finally block can be used when there are some codes that no matter what should run, whether an error occurred or not. So let's say you have opened a file, or let's say you have made a internet connection to a database. So whenever your whole script finishes, that database connection shall be closed to maintain the threads that are connected to the database. So this kind of cleanup activities like closing files or network connections shall be handled via the finally block. So the syntax for this would be very simple: try except else block, and then you will have your finally block. Okay, so now here you also need to check this out if the f exists or not. Here, as you can see, uh, the f like it raised an error that when it went into try block, uh, you can see that file not found. It raised an exception, then it went to it didn't run else because the exception occurred, and then it tried to close the file. But as the file never opened, the finally block also raised an exception. So ideally, your code should be something uh, finally you should also take care of if the else sorry I mean the if you're opening a database connection, did the connection actually opened? Because if the connection didn't open, then will not be able to close that particular uh, database connection as well. So that shall also be handled at that particular section. Then sometimes we want to raise an exception ourselves when something isn't right. For example, if a user enters a negative number for age, we can raise a value error to prevent the rest of the code from executing incorrectly. And this is widely used when creating APIs. So you create certain scenarios where if a user uploads wrong data, or the data for a particular variable is not equal to what was accepted, then raise these errors. Then if any particular operation failed, then raise the error that the user uploaded data was incorrect, or the data received from the form is incorrect. So this is what we call as raising exceptions. So you can think of, like, if you think in this particular code's idea, let's say the file never opened. So what we can do is we can go here, and let's say here I will replace it by file.close, and then I will accept and raise file was never opened. This is just for uh, okay, I got the issue. So what we can do is uh, we can actually, so now you can see it gives us proper value error. File was never opened. So this is how you can handle scenarios where something is going to happen. So you can add your own try except block with an raise situation where the code itself will raise an error, and that particular error message will be given by you, and what kind of error it is. Is it a value error? And in future we'll see something like pydantic. So pydantic will allow us to write more specific error information, that why did this error occur, and maybe you can also pass an information like how to solve that error, like whenever an exception is raised. And this was the example which we're trying to look. So we are trying to set an age. If age is less than 0, then raise an value error that age cannot be negative. Otherwise, we can print that age is set to this particular value. So as we are passing -5, it automatically raises an error that age cannot be negative. So this is how uh, you can manually raise an value error via using some conditional statements, and allow the program to follow certain kind of a workflow to let the user know that this kind of error has occurred. So in today's session, we saw how to write stronger and more constrained programs by handling different kind of errors separately, and how we can handle all those errors by clubbing them together by using an exception as E statement, then using else to separate normal flow, finally for doing any kind of cleanups, and then we saw how to use the raise function to automatically raise errors, value errors, or other kind of errors in our program, so that we can save our program to from bad data or bad behaviors. In the next session, we will learn about object-oriented programming. We will understand why we need classes and objects, relate them to some real-world systems, and start our journey into object-oriented programming. So yes, thank you for joining today's session. Let's meet in the next session. Have a nice day.